Alright, this is now the second time I have to record this video because the first time I accidentally, and I shit you not, hit my foot on the power cord and it got loose and my computer shut down and the files are now corrupt. So, I've made many tier list videos on this YouTube channel and some of them need to be updated. So we're gonna jump into that. So here is the here is what I did. Here's my words stopped working. Here is my original Pixar tier list video, which for some reason has 898 views. I don't know what psychopath decided to let that happen. And overall, I think it's fine, but it needs some retooling. So here's the updated list. I moved Onward and Incredibles 2 to D tier. For some reason, I had Onward on B, and that was insane of me to do. Yeah, so yeah, that definitely goes down. Incredibles 2 also goes down just because it's really boring. It's just a really boring movie. Ratatouille stays in B tier. Toy Story 4 stays in B tier. Toy Story actually gets bumped down. I've rewatched both Up and Inside Out, and I think they are both solidly in A tier. Finding Nemo gets bumped up. I don't know why I had it so low. I don't know why I was being so mean to Finding Nemo. Then Toy Story 3 is at the top of A tier. WALL-E follows in S tier, along with Monsters, Inc., Coco, Toy Story 2, and The Incredibles. This is the definitive top 5, Pixar movies, and I will not be convinced otherwise. But since then, 3 movies have been released: Soul, Luca, and Turning Red, and now it is my goal to rank them. So Soul, when it came out, I reviewed it. I thought it was very good. I still do. It has a lot of passion behind the project. It is kind of classic Pixar in the way that it is a giant, like, millions of dollars studio movie that was worked on by dozens or hundreds of people or whatever. But at the same time, it feels like a really personal story, and I like that. I like the main character's optimism. And it's really good. I think for a Pixar movie, for a kids movie, to tackle, like, basically existentialism is really neat. It doesn't succeed at everything, but I still think it's a very quality movie. So we're gonna put it at the top of B tier, better than the original Toy Story. No. Like, I think Soul might be the better movie, but Toy Story, it's too iconic to put Soul ahead of it. But a movie I will put ahead of Toy Story, and way ahead of Toy Story at that. Actually, let's fix this. That makes more sense. Luca, another movie I reviewed when it came out, and I thought it was great. It was incredible. Just a very good slice of life, low key. Not trying to do all this big. It doesn't have as big of a ambition as something like Inside Out or Soul, but it makes up for that for just being a nice romp with likable characters, gorgeous animation as always, and just being a really good movie. I feel confident putting it above Toy Story 3. I love the Italian setting. I love the music. I love the characters, the story. Everything about this movie is just, like, great, and it just kind of puts a smile on your face. Turning Red. This is the newest Pixar movie. It's very controversial because it handles the topic of periods, which is just too far. Sure, this freaking I'm not gonna get into it. Sure, Up has, like, elderly people, has the concept of, like, death and grief and moving on in it, and, like, Toy Story 3 has, like, themes of abandonment, and WALL-E and Soul are super existential. Coco also has a lot to do with family and history and death. But no, Turning Red, talking about periods. That's where we draw the line with Pixar movies. That's dumb. It was a cute film. Um, I thought the pacing was just alright. And it definitely falls into the trap of, well, we have to have a big battle or like a big climactic ending. Um, so I guess we'll just have big teddy bears fight. Um, but yeah, I like the setting is interesting, being 2002 Toronto. I think they chose that setting because you can make it so that the world is like modern enough to be relatable to us, but these characters don't have cell phones, you know? So that, because cell phones fix, and the internet in general fix a lot of the problems or the conflicts in this film, you can really beat. The movie would really fall apart if this was a world where computers and laptops were as accessible as they are today. But yeah, I thought the setting was actually very smart. The whole uh, bear representing periods and like self acceptance and all that is really nice. It's a really nice story. It similar to Encanto and Coco. It deals a lot with like family trauma and how the I guess the problems of a family can be passed down through generations, negatively affecting the youngest ones. Disney and Pixar have been really good at telling those kinds of stories lately. Of Coco, then Turning Red, then Encanto. Um, Turning Red, it's hard to tell because it's so new. I think it's definitely in B tier. Is it better than Ratatouille? I think Ratatouille is better than Toy Story 4, but I think Turning Red is better than Toy Story 4 as well. I don't think it's as good as Ratatouille. I think I am very solidly putting it here. Right? And, like, there's a big gap between C and B. Like, I'd give Cars, like, a 6 out of 10. Same thing with the Cars 3 and Finding Dory. But I'd give Toy Story 4 an 8. Turning Red an 8. Ratatouille an 8. Soul a 9. Toy Story a 9. And then, like, everything up is, like, pretty much 9s or 10s. I'm gonna put Luca below Toy Story 3. But above Inside Out. So yeah, I think this is a much better tier list than this. I'm not mad at myself because this tier list onward is the only real glaring issue, and as time has gone on, I've become more soured on The Incredibles 2. But yes, I think this is a good enough tier list. Where do I think Lightyear will be? Lightyear will be in C tier. I think it's definitely going to be the worst feature-length film in the... Granted, C tier is still a decent movie. I think it'll be the top of C tier, but I think it's going to be the worst movie in the, like, Toy Story brand or whatever. So there's my Pixar updated tier list. Moving on. Look at this little, gross little young baby guy with the horrible lighting. Is my lighting any better? No. No, lighting's still bad. Lighting's still really bad. I look like a vampire. But let's just scroll to the end. There's too many Disney animated movies for me to go back and re-rank them in a separate tab. But did this one get... Yeah, no interesting comments on this one. I think my opinions still mostly stand. Let's actually go through. Pinocchio, it's not as bad as I thought it was. I put it top of D, bottom C. I still don't like the movie very much. The Rescuers movies, Fox and Hound, the Atlantis and Treasure Planet people, I got some messages from my friends saying that was a bad ranking. To be honest, I have never seen the movies. I lied, is what I did. C tier, just all the classics, and then also Big Hero 6. Big Hero 6 might go below Bambi and Peter Pan. But, like, these are the classic, the vaults, the, like, movies they put in the Walt Disney vaults. Where do I put Moana? I put Moana on S tier. That's interesting. Do I put Lilo and Stitch in S tier? No, I do not. I put Lilo and Stitch in A tier. Lilo and Stitch is a masterpiece. There's not many movies I'd give 10 out of 10s, but Lilo and Stitch might be one of them. But let's go through B tier. The Toad and the whatever, I don't even remember what this movie's called. The one with the Headless Horseman. It's a good movie. Is it good enough to separate it from like the rest of the old good Disney movies? No, I'd probably bump that down to C tier. Fantasia's neat, but again, I'd probably bump that down to C tier. Frozen, Wreck-It Ralph, and Tangled. Tangled being the best, Wreck-It Ralph following, then Frozen. That's, I think, a correct opinion. Tarzan following, I think it's underrated and gets too much hate. Hunchback of Notre Dame is fine where it is. Princess Frog is fine where it is. Zootopia is fine. I think I might actually slide Princess and Frog below or maybe above Tangled. Hercules is also underrated, followed by The Little Mermaid. I honestly might put Hercules above Little Mermaid. Hercules is really freaking fun. Emperor's New Groove is amazing. I might bump that up to S tier. Mulan goes below New Groove. Lilo and Stitch and New Groove go up to S tier. Beauty and the Beast goes to the end of A tier. It's a classic, it's iconic, it's amazing. The music, the story, the characters are all kind of like burned, singed into the memory of just like pop culture America. But like, come on. I think all the other movies in A tier are better. As much as I like Beauty and the Beast like everybody else, calm down. I'm not a Beauty and the Beast hater. It's a great movie and everything. So yeah, I don't have too many problems with this Disney movie tier list. Oh, but I almost forgot because I'm a dummy. When I make this review, or this tier list 2020, so I think since then, it's just been Raya and Encanto that have followed. Encanto was mediocre, but I think it was still, like, it's better than the D tier stuff. I'd put it somewhere in the mid-C tier range. Below, the super classics like Peter Pan, Bambi, but I still think it's better than like Robin Hood or Sleeping Beauty. And then Encanto was fantastic. I don't know where to rank that one. It's definitely an A, or I think it's definitely an A tier. Above Beauty and the Beast, above Little Mermaid, above Mulan, below Hercules and New Groove. So I'd have as the 6th best Disney Studio animated movie, but I also have Hercules in the top 5, so maybe you shouldn't trust my opinion. Chicken Little is still the worst. Still terrible. So yeah, there goes the Disney movie tier list. We will now be moving on to the last tier list I need to fix. It is my MCU tier list. Where I last left off, this was how the rankings stood. Thor, followed by The Dark World, Hulk, Iron Man 2 in F tier, D tier being Doctor Strange, Ant-Man, Ant-Man the Wasp, and Captain Marvel, C tier being Black Widow, the Falcon and Winter Soldier show, Captain America the First Avenger, Age of Ultron. In C tier, Black Panther, Winter Soldier, Avengers, Civil War, Iron Man 3, and WandaVision in B tier. A tier is Iron Man, Spider-Man Homecoming, Loki, Thor Ragnarok, and then S tier at the time, I had Spider-Man Far From Home, the Guardians movies, and then Infinity War and Endgame. Okay, let's start at the bottom. Thor 2, Hulk, Iron Man 2, they're all bad. Moving up to D tier, I definitely think Doctor Strange is better than a D tier. Maybe same thing for Ant-Man. I think Ant-Man's still D tier. But I definitely think it's better than Captain Marvel and Ant-Man the Wasp. But I do think Captain Marvel's better than Ant-Man the Wasp, just for being more unique, or at least introducing characters that we haven't seen. Nick Fury was cool in that movie. But overall, that movie was very forgettable. C tier. Black Widow should not be in C tier. Black Widow's going down to D. Black Widow's worse than Ant-Man. I like the sister character. I like the family. Actually, no. Black Widow, top of D tier. I like the family dynamic. It's cute. I like the sister, like everybody else does on Twitter. It's fine. It's fine for what it is. It's fine. Uh, Falcon and Winter Soldier, I think I'm still gonna keep it in C tier. Doctor Strange is better than the first Captain America movie. Let's be real here. And then Age of Ultron in the top of C tier. Perfectly fine with that. B tier. Ooh, stuff gets a little messy here. Black Winter Soldier over Black Panther. Honestly, I think I'm gonna keep that. I think both these movies are definitely B tier. They're good. Avengers below Civil War. Here's what I'm gonna do. This is gonna be pretty controversial. Bottom of B tier. Maybe top of C tier. Actually, you know what? To just be more controversial, I'll put it bottom of C tier. Or top of C tier. So much wasted potential of this movie. Just imagine if they held back this idea for like a few years. Like, imagine the cast of Infinity War in this movie. That'd be insane. I guess it doesn't fit as well because Iron Man and... Actually, no. I think there's a very competent story with having the Avengers stay together till Infinity War, get absolutely destroyed by Thanos, and then having them like fall apart into different factions, and then they have to slowly rise back up and come together in Endgame. That's a perfect story, you know? And you can have just so many characters fighting. But I still love the introduction to Black Panther and Spider-Man. Black Panther's best movie is probably this one. He's so much cooler than he is in any other Avengers movie or even his own movie, which is a damn shame. Iron Man 3 better than Avengers? No. I still like Iron Man 3 a lot. I think it's one of the most underrated Marvel movies. But I don't think it's as good as Avengers. WandaVision being above the Avengers. It's hard to judge it because it's a show versus a movie. But, I think I gotta put... Because I think WandaVision reaches higher highs. But I think the highest highs are mostly through the first two episodes. First three. Then episode 4, they introduce the human characters, and it becomes a lot less interesting. Versus the Avengers, which, sure, I've seen it so many times that it's harder for me to enjoy, but I still think it's better than WandaVision. A tier, Iron Man, Homecoming, Loki, Ragnarok. Okay. Homecoming stays in A tier. Iron Man is as good as Homecoming, Loki, and Thor Ragnarok. No, in fact, I'm sliding Iron Man down to B tier. I think the movie is just as good as I did before. I just would give my opinion. Actually, it's going above WandaVision. It's just as good as I thought it was before. It's still a great 8 out of 10 movie. Everything from, I guess, everything from Captain America up is an 8 out of 10, in my opinion. Great origin story, great character arc for Tony Stark. Villain's boring, but like, it's a well-paced movie too, which is rare for superhero movies. It's damn good. Loki versus Thor Ragnarok. I think I'm fine keeping Thor Ragnarok above Loki. Oh, but really, now we're putting Loki top 8 tier. I love that show. It was great. Far From Home, I have not rewatched in a while. I think I rewatched it maybe like a year ago. I caught it on cable or whatever. Not as good as I remember it. No Way Home is definitely less, in my opinion, on both the previous Spider-Man movies. But still, Jake Gyllenhaal's Mysterio's a good villain. I love the Europe setting. It's funny. The minor side characters get a lot of good scenes, good jokes, without like distracting us from the main plots. Zendaya is the best Spider-Man movie girlfriend to date, probably. Tommy Boy is still a very likable Peter. I like how they give Spider-Man a bunch more, like, the trilogy of Spider-Man films do a really good job at actually building upon each other and giving different arcs for Peter to go through. Spider-Man Homecoming, he's really like trying to figure out what Spider-Man is. Spider-Man Far From Home, He's trying to live up to the potential and like his expectations. And he's starting to like crack. This is when Spider-Man starts to crack under pressure, and then Spider-Man No Way Home, everything blows up for him. And it kind of has a sad ending. He has to prioritize what matters most to him, and he goes through a lot of trauma. And by the end of the movie, he's kind of the Spider-Man that we know, in a dirty, crappy apartment with no friends, no girlfriend. All he really has is Spider-Man. That being said, Guardians 2 is better than Guardians Galaxy. Guardians of the Galaxy goes above, goes there. I will not change these top 3 films. Guardians of the Galaxy 2 delivers stronger emotional moments and is funnier than Guardians of the Galaxy 1. Do not at me. Moving on. There have been 7 new MCU projects. Because the most recent one was Loki, and that came out last year. Venom and Venom Let There Be Carnage has been revealed as being part of the MCU. Morbius would go in F tier, obviously. Actually, no, it would be in double S tier because of the memes. Venom, the first one, was dumb, but it was funny dumb. So I'll put it at the bottom. It was more entertaining than Ant-Man the Wasp and Captain Marvel and Ant-Man and also Black Widow. Also Captain America. Venom was really dumb and bad, but it was really funny that it was really dumb and bad. So I think it deserves a spot at D tier. Venom Let There Be Carnage, by the way, isn't even dumb bad. It's boring bad. Is it worse than Thor and Thor Dark World? I'm gonna put it here. These 4 movies are just garbage. This movie especially, it's just a mess, man. Terrible movie. The Hawkeye show, pretty much they just did this to introduce Hawkeye's daughter, who I don't even remember her name, and to introduce Kingpin to the MCU, which is dope, but Kingpin's kind of already been in the MCU because it was confirmed that Daredevil was in the MCU and Spider-Man. The canonicology, that's what I'm calling it, the canon of the MCU, it's just like, it's so far behind the levels of it's too much for the average moviegoer to like keep up with, in my opinion. But Hawkeye, it was fine. It can go at the bottom of C tier. I don't think I actually finished it. Eternals. Oh, but Thor's really bad. But Thor Dark World is really bad. But I think the Eternals is worse. Because it has like more potential. See, like if they made this if they swapped the roles that Eternals and Hawkeye play, I think both stories would be better. Have Hawkeye be like a cute little like buddy action movie with Hawkeye and his daughter. Introduce some new introduce Black Widow's sister, and you got a decent little movie. Make the Eternals a series, and you can actually have time to flesh out the like 10 main I think it's 10 main characters. And like they all in concept have interesting like stories, but like because they gotta follow the generic superhero movie templates, they don't have time to flesh out any of the characters, and like I don't really want to see them in more Marvel stuff. It feels weird seeing them interact with like the good Marvel characters. The What If show. The What If show is kind of hard to rank. More interesting than Hawkeye, though. And Captain America. It was a cute little experiment. I think it's definitely worth your time. I like the Black Panther as Star-Lord episode. And the Marvel or the like one where the Marvel characters get assassinated by Loki. Or not by Loki, by... Wait, is it Loki? The ones where the characters get assassinated, okay? There's some fun stuff in there. The Doctor Strange one was neat. There's some fun stuff. Shang-Chi was great. Such a fun action comedy martial arts movie. This definitely going in A tier. I think it's better than the first 2 Spider-Man movies. Is it better than Guardians of the Galaxy? Probably not. I think that's a But Shang-Chi is a great origin story. It's great at establishing the character, who I really wasn't that interested in until I saw the movie. And I can't wait to see how he interacts with other characters in the MCU and future projects. This is definitely a movie I want to see a sequel. I thought it was great. And a big one, Spider-Man No Way Home. It's like, yeah. Hold up. I think it's impossible for me to rank these three movies against each other. All of them are just like massive fan servicey movies with a lot of great action and characters, and just they're all just super fun. Probably the three greatest like theater experiences I've had, just because how much it's rare that watching a movie is like watching a sporting event where you're in like a crowd of people and like they cheer, or they gasp together, or they laugh together. But, like, I definitely got that with these three movies. I saw it twice. Both times I loved it. How they used the previous Spider-Mans was like the perfect, gave them perfect amounts of screen time. By having Andrew Garfield and Tobey Maguire get their lines in, get their fun stuff in, and also have them actually service the story with them teaching Peter kind of how to be Spider-Man. I thought it was great. But they didn't get too much screen time because this is still Tom Holland's story. I liked how the friend characters were used. I liked how the problems in Far From Home carried over. Aunt May dying is insane. The villains are all good. Like, Dr. Octavius and Green Goblin are obviously the standouts, but then the other three are just kind of dumb and goofy for the sake of it. And I also really like Doctor Strange in this movie. I like his sense of morality kind of being... Like, your sense of morality definitely gets changed when you go from someone like Spider-Man, who's, like, still a low-level superhero, I guess. Or not low-level at this point, he's saved the planet. But, like, he's not God. He's not in charge of keeping the timeline intact, but he looks at the small picture a lot more, while Doctor Strange looks at the big picture as far as morality. I like how they contrast the two characters like that, and they also have a really fun fight scene. So yeah, Spider-Man No Way Home is surprisingly really fucking good. I don't think I had to be the one to tell you that, but here we are. So yeah, this was just like a quick little filler video. Next video will be on the Sonic series. I'll be continuing my Sonic series of reviews, because for some reason, talking about a dumb, stupid blue hedgehog brings out my creative juices very well. I think the next time we do a tier list video, will probably be on the Batman movies, all the live-action Batman movies, and also probably Lego Batman. Just because I've been binging them. I have some opinions to share on them. But other than that, I think this is going to be the end of the video. This was just kind of a low-key chill, looking at some of my earlier tier lists and updating them. I've been meaning to do this for a while. And I'll see you guys next time.